Om Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. I don't know how much time I have for this video because when it comes to space, my phone is always out of space. There's a lot going on. But this is off the top of the head right now. First of all, I'd like to shout out Bhakta TJ, Taryn Stanton, who made a very powerful video about Ajamila. Ajamila is an important subject because all of us have to face the moment of death. Just like, for example, at my job, we work with children, we educate children on how to read and other subjects pertaining to literacy. And at the school, during the summer program, we focus on a different continent every week. The children learned about Ghana last week. I had some African food. This week we did Afghanistan previously, and I was eating some food, some Afghanistani food, so I brought it upstairs, and one of my co-workers made a remark about how big my plate was. And she said, "Oh, my plate isn't that big. Why is your plate so big?" And I just said kindly, "There's more food left downstairs. It's still available for the people who want it," and that was that. And she, kind of pressed the issue further, so I had to say, "Listen, I don't eat dead carcasses. I don't eat any dead animals. My body is not a morgue. I don't put that stuff in my body." And there was a person there who was of the Hebrew faith, overheard the conversation, and he was like, "Oh, you're a vegetarian?" I was like, "Nah, I don't like titles. I just don't eat dead animals. They don't belong in my body." And furthermore, if you want to look in the Bible, in the book of Genesis, now we're talking about the book of Barashit. I'm like, the first chapter of Barashit tells you what the optimal food diet for a human is. It's herbs and plant life. Anything that comes growing from the ground, that's what humans are supposed to eat. So I'm thinking that conversation is over. Later on, a little Bengali girl asked me, she says, "Are you a Vaishnava?" Now when she said, "Are you a follower of the Vaishnava?" And I stopped. I laughed. I said, "Why did you say Vaishnava? Of all things, you could have said Hindu. You could have said so many things. What would make you say Vaishnava?" And I thought it was because of the vegetarian conversation that she might have overheard. But she was like, "Nah, I heard you chanting the mantra. And that's why I asked, are you a follower of the Vaishnava?" I said, first of all, that term Vaishnava is a very, very high esteemed, honorable title. And I would never call myself a Vaishnava. I could even be a servant of the servants of the servants, or a devotee of the Vaishnavas. But man, to be a Vaishnava, that's like high level Jedi. Like that's one of the highest levels you can attain in the universe or outside of the universe, is being a pure devotee of Lord Vishnu. So I just told her, I said, "Nah, I just chant Hare Krishna." You know what I'm saying? I made it simple. The reason why that struck me at that moment, and the reason why I brought up Bhakta TJ, is because one important thing to understand about Yamaraja, also known as Osiris, is that he's responsible for collecting the souls who never bow down to Krishna. So he doesn't hear the names of Lord Vishnu. He doesn't hear Jehovah and Allah. He doesn't hear Hare Krishna mantra being chanted down there in the underworld very often, because it's only sinful souls who go for the judgment of Osiris. Just like when a person is in a coma before death, that's because they're right there on the fence. They're right there on the blade, and it's hard to ascertain if they should go to reincarnation or if they should go to their eternal spiritual body. It's hard to tell. So they have to remain in a coma while their case is being reviewed. I was very happy to hear the name of Lord Vishnu Vaishnava in the school setting, because in American school systems, God is not welcome. God is no place for God. You could teach theories. You could teach things that haven't been proven, but you can't teach that everything comes from an original, substantial point. You could teach about the Big Bang Theory, but before, if you want to go to the time before the Big Bang Theory, now you're in the realm of speculation. So once again, the school system is not designed to teach that there's a central focal point of all living entities, religious, non-religious, moving and non-moving. Of the living entities who incarnate on the planet Earth, you have beings that incarnate and live in the air, that live on the land, and live in the sea. Out of those three groups of living entities, they're separated by two categories: moving and non-moving living entities. And all of those living entities are encrusted material, slowed down carbonated energy. Carbon energy, 666 energy, is what encases the immaterial soul when it comes into this particular universe. Carbon is very abundant here in this universe. The black, as you call it, the black substance is very abundant here. And all things, whether yellow, white, green, blue, red, originate from that original black carbonic or that transcendental material that we call melanin today. So I was very pleased to hear the name Lord Vishnu, unexpected, because once again, Yamaraj doesn't get to hear the names of Lord Vishnu on his daily course. So thank you, Bhakta TJ. I wanted you to make an animated video because I see it in you. You got the skills to do some great digital work in this movement here. And speaking of this movement, listen, it ain't no joke. It ain't no game. ISKCON is falling apart as we speak. ISKCON is embattled. Their temples are being sold or threatened to be sold. They got so many lawsuits going on. And the whole purpose of ISKCON was not to form a religious organization, but to form an organization that could facilitate the free movement of the holy names through the Western civilization. I have no doubt about it. The Western civilization is going to fall. The scriptures prophesied this. It's all through the Bible. It's all in Revelations. It's showing you the Western civilization is going to fall. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, he knew. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati knew that this civilization would fall, as well as Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So they sent the holy names over here just to buy you guys some time. And you good little European American boys and girls, as Srila Prabhupada often called you, did a very good job. But somewhere along the line, when he left, you stalled. And the world needs the teachings of ISKCON more than ever. Look at the orange buffoon we got in the office. He doesn't know what to say when he opens his mouth unless his masters tell him what to say. The man could barely read. He doesn't have any vocabulary. He's a buffoon, and he's leading America at one of the most critical times. Right now, there's so many discoveries going on in Antarctica, and we don't know what's next. We don't know if we might see giants the size of King Kong turning up inside New York City. Talking about the last time I was here was 1933, and y'all had a movie with King Kong climbing up this building. And now, it's just so much going on in the world, man. And the Hare Krishna teachings are needed on the planet Earth. We need you guys to get over your stuff. Your isms, your schisms, your fights with the Gaudiya Math. We need y'all to get up and stand up and be the Messiah energy that the people wanted y'all to be. If not, then you're going to have strangers come in from out of nowhere, from the least expected neighborhoods, from the least expected races, and take over this message that Srila Prabhupada brought over here to the West to resurrect people. This is nothing new. Vidura did this thousands of years ago. Vidura was the incarnation of Yamaraj. And it is said by Mark Amaru Pinkham in the book Return of the Serpents of Wisdom that circa 10,000 BCE, or at the end of the last ice age, Osiris, the Lord of the Dead, the King of the Dead, went through the planet Earth and spread this philosophy. And once again, we have Vidura doing it. We do know that the ancient Europeans have some kind of Indo-Aryan connection because the grandson of Maharaj Parikshit gave a land title to his sons to control the land of Mlecha and Yavana, which is Greece and Turkey, or the Romans and the Eastern Europeans. Europe, as we know it, was established by descendants of Indians. Paul Guthrie tried to tell you, and he was saying that a European is just an albino Indian. It's really true. When you look at a European and an albino Indian side by side, you don't see a European being an albino black man. You see a European being an albino Indian. The 5%ers tried to tell you the story, but the only thing is that they misidentified the origin of the Europeans as Mecca or Medina and Arabia. They said they tied them up on ropes and crossed the desert lands. No, if you did the math like Paul Guthrie did, it'll show you the people came from India and went out. That's the Aryan invasion. The Aryan invasion never invaded into India. It invaded from India. And we got proof of that because in the ancient times, the kings used to have something called Ashwamedha sacrifice. And the Ashwamedha sacrifice, you put your flag on a horse, and wherever it goes, you conquer that kingdom. The king either pays you tribute and falls under your rulership, where that horse stops on your land, or you will go to war and most likely be conquered. And that's how the Vedic Empire was spread during that time. I just call it Vedic Empire, but basically whatever civilization was going on that was being ruled through Hastinapur from circa 3100 BCE and before, those people used to use horses and war to extend the reign of what we call Aryans today. So no, it wasn't some blonde-haired, blue-eyed guys bringing civilization into India. As a matter of fact, the Germans will tell you, don't think that we are more smart than the rest of the people on the earth. We had help from people from other worlds. This is one of the founders of NASA, a U.S. government agency. And all of these Nazis that came and helped to form NASA, they were aware of the Vedic science, and they were also aware of life on other planets and within this planet. ISKCON, please, man. Srila Prabhupada wanted y'all to get that rural living going. He wanted y'all to get land. I have so much grand plans, but I need to be a trillionaire or a multi-billionaire to get these things done. I got some beautiful things that could be done. I could help the world. I could save some cows. I could, with some of my ideas, I could literally knock the petroleum industry off of one of its legs. And they know they're going anyway, because Tesla, the guy Elon Musk, just released his new Tesla 3, and it's giving some sick competition to these gas controlled cars. We can't allow the Rakshasas to continue to control this planet. Rakshasas are shape-shifting reptilian humanoids who eat human flesh. That's what a Rakshasa is, and that's who your world leaders are. Those are the people that be roasting people, and they donate the blood to the god Moloch. These false gods spoken of in the biblical scriptures. ISKCON, I'm calling you on, if I know I'm stumbling a lot because I feel very passionate, and this tongue is not made for what's coming through my heart right now. And I'm like so disappointed in ISKCON right now. You know, I don't look at ISKCON as the spiritual shelter of the planet Earth. I look at the message that ISKCON has as the spiritual shelter of the planet Earth. I look at the message, the deity that they brought to the West, Lord Jagannath. You know what you're dealing with? You're dealing with an unstoppable particle when you're dealing with Lord Jagannath. A transcendental, eternal, all-absorbing, unstoppable, transcendental particle. We're going into new energy paradigms now. We got scalar energy. Remember, you got longitudinal waves, X-rays, and radio waves, and all of these waves, they go up and down. But the scalar energy is the baseline energy that goes like this. Transform, and it doesn't lose energy, and it's shaped like a double helix, like your DNA. So imagine the proper shape for your DNA is that of a straw. But now your DNA is twisted and mutated. So a straw, you send a straw to go over the DNA like dough, and then you pull the straw out and the DNA has its proper shape. Well, that's what happens when you come in contact with scalar energy, because it's back and forth. It's reciprocal energy. Where do we learn that scalar energy from? In the form of what we misinterpreted as a religious mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. When you say Hare Krishna, you're saying that Krishna and Radha are together. Krishna and Radha are together. Then you say Krishna, Krishna, Hare, Hare. Krishna is there by himself. Hare, Hare. Radha is there by herself. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. What is that again? Once again, Rama, another name for Krishna. Or the pleasure, the absolute good energy that goes to all, the source of all pleasure, the reservoir of pleasure is Rama. Hare Rama. Once again, you have Radha together with Rama. Hare Rama. Radha is together with Rama. Rama Rama. Now Rama is separated from Hare Hare. Radha Radha. You see, when you chant that mantra, it's a love mantra. It's a transcendental mantra. And it brings loving energy because there's that back and forth. And how do we equate the back and forth energy into the material world? Sex. Sex is love for a lot of people. So even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tried to explain to you that the highest pastime you could have, the highest relationship you could have with the Lord is what? Conjugal pastimes. Because conjugal pastimes entail the ultimate give and take sacrifice between a man and a woman. You're giving life to the world. You give this woman your sperm. She takes from you your sperm, and then she gives back to you a baby 9 months later. It's the most genuine thing you could ever engage in is sex life for the purpose of transcendental realization. So please, ISKCON, get your act together. Stop selling temples, sell books. Don't let me come in your ISKCON centers and see books with Srila Prabhupada's name on it and he ain't write it. It's better to steal somebody else's work outright and say that you did it than to change somebody's words and to say that they did it. It's not right. The man has left this body. He left his work for you, and you're going to go change. They put 5,000 changes in the Bhagavad Gita. I almost croak every time I see a golden Bhagavad Gita. And I always reiterate, yeah, that's the one that brought me here. So imagine what kind of blessed Shakti I would have today if the first Bhagavad Gita I saw was the one that Prabhupada wrote himself and not these dudes. And now these dudes are all falling down. And their whole ISKCON is being taken away from by their own members, by their own swamis. I don't even have to name him. It's related to the city of Rome. If you could read into it from there. They ain't right, man. These dudes ain't right, man. And they ain't about Srila Prabhupada. They ain't about ISKCON. They ain't about having Harinam Sankirtan. They ain't about that. They want a retirement package. Wake up, man. These religions is abusing people. And Srila Prabhupada, Sri Krishna himself said, abandon religion. Why aren't we abandoning religion? Why are we holding up? Remember, if you go through the religious path and you do that perfectly for a certain amount of lives, you could get to Vaikuntha. But if you do the path of spontaneous love, as my good friend Gaura Haridas is always tagging me in his videos to show the world the transcendental nectar of the ecstasy of God. If you're going through the path of spontaneous love, you go to Goloka Vrindavan where they don't even know that Krishna is God. They see him as a friend, as a lover, as a brother, as somebody to serve, but they don't see him as God. Listen, let's wake this up, man. It's not a lot of time. The conscious community is waking up fast. They're looking for guidance, and they're heading real fast to 0 point. We have to be able to provide these people with the spiritual nutrients to transform the planet Earth into a paradise Earth. Then the Jehovah's Witness could stop knocking your door every Saturday because everybody will be chilling. All right? Let's chill, y'all. Why can't we all get along? Because we're all on a bodily concept, bodily platform. I need something for my body. I need something for my black people. I need something, some dignity or some respect for my mind. This is what I need presently in this body. And you, Spanish man, you got a different view. You man from Tibet, you got a different view. You white man, you got a different view. You Indian man, you got a different view. And ain't nobody checking for what Krishna wants. Well, I know Krishna respected the cow, so I'm going to start there. I'm going to protect the cow. They got dudes in Africa that all they drink is milk and yogurt, and they're built like muscle men. They're called the Mundari tribe. And all they eat is milk and yogurt. And these cows are 8 feet tall. Come on, man. Let's wake up. In one of my verses recently, because I was inspired once again by Bhakta TJ, so now I'm writing rhymes again. And one of the lines I said, I learned something from the Vedas, fantastic. Cow urine could make gold and dung biodegradable plastic. We answered, you asked it. The energy of Krishna is dynamic, reality elastic. That's just one little verse. The whole idea is that you can make plastic from cow dung and gold from cow urine. There's no need to be broke. Follow what Prabhupada said. Follow what Elijah Muhammad said. Get your own land. Follow what Dr. York said. Get your own land. Be self-sufficient. You can't depend upon the government. They're taking away your Medicaid. They're taking away all of